As Temtem begins, you'll face a situation that might feel familiar. You're a new tamer starting their journey with choosing a creature from a professor, and you set out on an adventure to clear dojos around a new, vibrant world. While it may sound similar on paper, Temtem does a lot to make you fall in love with it, and even in early access, is completely worth your time, with the promise of more to come. Temtem, developed by Crema and published by Humble Games, is a creature-catching RPG that tasks you with catching, training, and battling across the airborne archipelago. You'll start your journey by choosing between 3 Tems, battle your rival, and set out to be the very best. Well, if this sounds like Pokemon, it's because it is. At least initially. Temtem makes a lot of meaningful changes to the formula. I need to start by talking about the Temtem designs and graphics. Some of these critters are some of my favorite creations in an RPG. The adorable Platypet, the stubborn-looking and graceful Deandry, and fantastically named Adoraboros are all mainstays in my party. They all have so much personality to them, and watching them run behind you helps you foster a feeling of adventure with these little pals. Not all the designs are winners, and I'm looking at you, Grumville, but the hits are far more than the misses. I'm so excited to see the new Tems that will come with future updates. The game has around 100 now, with promises of more than 60 on the way. The art style is bright and vibrant as you trek across forests, volcanoes, deserts, and more. Something that I wasn't expecting, but was so happy about, was just how inclusive this game is. The game will ask you for your pronouns as you begin, and there are a ton of LGBTQ+ characters, along with characters of different skin tones. Your character can be whoever you want them to be, and you'll meet so many amazing characters on your adventure. Representation is so important, and Temtem does so much right. I would still like to see some more in the character creation, in terms of hairstyles to match the diverse potential backgrounds, but the game does a wonderful job of letting you be yourself, whoever you are. The entire battle system is built around double battles. You'll throw 2 Tems into the fight, and you'll need to be aware of typing or different type matchups. Some attacks are also super unique and will require you to think about the positioning of your Tems, as the attacks will move around the arena in certain directions. I love this idea and hope to see more of it in the future, as right now there are only a few attacks that make use of this. It really makes the battles feel more strategic, as you need to consider which Tem you want in which spot. It took me a little while to rewire my brain, as the different types compared to what I'm used to made for new challenges. It also has a stamina system, where each attack will use a certain amount of stamina. You can use each move an unlimited amount of times, assuming you have the stamina for it. If your Tem has 20 stamina, and an attack uses 14, you'll be left with 6, and some will regen next round. You can use the attack again the next turn, but if it goes over your stamina meter, you'll take some damage and your Tem will need to rest the following turn. Balancing this led to a great challenge, as you try and mental map the benefits of using that one super effective attack now, or using attacks that cost less stamina, but will deal less damage. Some typing pairs will also result in boosted attacks, so you'll need to be mindful of who's on the field. The game is also tough. I blacked out more in this game, as in had my party wiped, more in the first few hours than in the last few Pokemon games combined, and this is not a complaint. I've missed this level of difficulty and challenge, and figuring out how to get past dojo leaders in certain situations brought back early memories of Pokemon Red. Every situation is unknown. Making sure your party is properly equipped and leveled is essential. Temtem attacks can be swapped out at will between battles, which is fantastic. You won't need to run around just to relearn an attack if one that you've learned isn't great for the situation. I just love how hard this game can be. As for the story, it starts out quite basic, but gets increasingly interesting as the game goes on. You'll be going up against Clan Belsato as you make your way across the floating islands. Their motives and objectives are unveiled as the game progresses, and the story genuinely surprised me at points. The writing is also fantastic, and oftentimes quite funny. You'll be given dialogue choices throughout conversations, and while they don't affect the flow of the story, they add a lot in terms of personality. Each trainer genuinely feels like a different person, and I got quite a few laughs out of the conversations you can have with them. One of my favorite running jokes, and I can't resist doing this every single time, is telling people that Clan Belsato eat poop. I did a double take the first time I saw this option, but now I'm committed. The reactions are usually entertaining, and you get to choose how much or how little you interact with people and other tamers. It makes the character feel like your own much more than in other games of this genre. The game is also completely online. Seeing other tamers run by with Tems in tow makes the world feel alive. You can battle, trade, and become friends, even taking on battles together as you throw one Tem in each. The game can be played in co-op, and I'm curious to see more of it. It's nice that it's there, but isn't mandatory at any point. Watching other tamers trying to solve environmental problems or come out of a battle that you just conquered added a great sense of community to the game. For a lot of us, being stuck in lockdowns and not being able to see family or friends, seeing this world bustle and thrive was so refreshing. There are a couple things that did bug me about Temtem. One of the biggest things is the leveling system, which I honestly can't figure out how I feel about. Your Tems will evolve after a certain number of levels grown, not at a set or specific level. I can appreciate this because it allows for more training and lets you customize your Tems in a way that you want, but I also think that it can make the game feel a bit stale. If you catch a Tem at level 28, but it requires 16 levels to evolve it, it can stifle the sense of progression as there are only so many tamers you can face in the wild. You can still face wild Tems to grind out XP, but they dole out much less than the tamers. I think this could be less of a problem in later islands as you start to see a lot of the later stage evolutions, but that middle area of grinding may feel monotonous. This feeling can also carry in the opening hours of the game, as the Temtem variety is not big at first. I found a lot of the same encounters over and over again, and while this isn't a huge problem, it did find it a bit boring through sections of long runs between areas. I'm hopeful that this is something that will change as the game continues to be updated and more Tems are added to the game, so that variation throughout can become more diversified. The game is still in early access, and the devs seem to be very active with the community, so I hope to see what changes will come in the future. I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of Temtem. I finished the main story currently available after almost 40 hours of playtime, and there are more islands coming. There are a ton of side quests, activities that involve being rewarded for freeing a certain amount of Temtem every week, dojo battles to redo. I could easily sink double that time. Despite the early access tag, Temtem has enough content and depth to rival most AAA releases. I've had so much fun finding new Tems to add to my party, being genuinely surprised as new critters popped on my screen. I love the difficulty level and strategy that goes into each double battle. The story kept me guessing, and the level of engagement I felt because of the dialogue choices just kept me hungry for more. I'm not done with Temtem. I look forward to seeing the new Tems and revisiting the game as more content becomes available. There's a ton here for early adopters, and the price of the game will go up as more is added. It is a fantastic time to jump in on Temtem, and I can't wait to continue my adventure. And remember, Clan Belsato eats poop. Thank you so much for checking out our Temtem review. I want to give a big shout out to Humble Games for sending us a code for the game. If you want to see more from us, check out our other videos below where you can find more reviews, let's plays, and our podcast, the Burnout Brighter podcast, every single week. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and keep it locked. We'll have more coming soon.